the third one I've seen. There's two. Right here. Another memorial from some people that I guess probably got shot. And then there's another one over here. Damn. That's the fourth time I've seen that. In these hoods, where they just put up a memorial for somebody that's, I'm guessing, dead. I've never seen that before. And I do this for a living. Killwaukee, Wisconsin. That's what people here call it. I'm in the part of town that everyone told me is the worst part of this place. It was about 10 in the morning on a Sunday, on an unusually warm day in late February. Usually in hoods like this, there aren't too many people up and moving around this early in the day. For the most part, it was pretty empty. Pretty much just me driving around by myself. Wasn't anybody around. And it didn't really feel sketchy. It took me about a half a day in here before I was able to kind of just let my guard down. I was like, this is the famous Milwaukee hoods? Everything I've heard about this place is bad, bad, bad. It's famous. Or maybe I'm just getting used to this shit. Now, unless you live in the area, you probably don't know too much about Milwaukee. You might know about their sports teams and their drinking habits, but I'm not here for that stuff, though. Not this episode. I'm here to bring you bad and ghetto stuff. Depending on what site you read and what stats you believe, Milwaukee, Wisconsin is somewhere in the top 10 in the country for crime right now. And the trend's getting worse. You people love watching this stuff. So I came here to drive around this neighborhood as part of a winter road trip I did back in 2024. I had never been to Milwaukee before. And guess what? This was the last inner city ghetto I had yet to explore. It was a milestone. I was so excited. I'm going to drive through all these troubled areas now, and I'm going to talk about the problems here and why they're bad and what it all means. Even though it's the same story with the same looking rundown shit, you people can't seem to get enough of it. So, here you go. And it's always all wasted, making bad dreams come true. Yeah, and it's always making bad things to come true. Poor me and you.
I think it's easier to find fast money, like steal a car. It's easier to do that. It's easier to rob somebody. It's easier to steal out of the store than to find a job. You know what I'm saying? They don't want that hard way. They don't want to find a job. They don't want to look on the internet for a job. They don't want job training. They just want to follow their friends. And coolest thing is to be evil. The coolest thing to rob somebody. The coolest thing to shoot somebody. The coolest thing, and we need to rewrite that. They don't want to grow up. They don't want to work a real job. They want to rob. They want to steal. They want to kill. They want to do everything else.
I think I always hear the same thing when I talk to people in these violent black cities. The kids just make life so shitty for everyone else. Damn kids. That was Greta. I met her on Craigslist. I put out a query looking for people from the Milwaukee hoods to talk to. Greta sent me an email. She was like, "This place is getting worse all the time. I'm sick of it." So I stopped by her house when I was in town. Nice lady. Greta was one of 3 people I talked to before I even got to Wisconsin. I asked them all, okay, where's the bad side of town? Everybody wants to see where the worst of it is. The dangerous parts where shit's all run down. And everyone agreed where it is. It's right here. It's a big chunk of the city north and west of downtown. Second question is Milwaukee's bad side as bad as people say? Yes and no. But before we talk about the what, let's talk about the why. This part of town is all messed up. You got burned out all over. Trash. They're losing a lot of people here in Milwaukee. Once they go, they don't come back. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but in the early 70s, Milwaukee had the highest wages and the highest quality of life for all black folks of any city in the country. I know. All these black families moved up here from the South looking for work, and they sure were glad they did. There were all sorts of jobs here, and the living was good. Almost half of black Milwaukeeans, they earned their living as industrial laborers. They worked at the steel mills, they built ships, assembled parts for cars and airplanes. They turned wheat into beer and cattle into steaks. It wasn't glamorous work, but it paid well, and homes were cheap. Back then, only Detroit rivaled Milwaukee for black family success. This was the promised land for black laborers. Middle-class utopia, except for the cold. But that ship that was steamrolling forward suddenly began to sink. In the mid-70s, a bunch of industries began to collapse. They lost a bunch of factory jobs, and all that prosperity came crashing down. And Milwaukee didn't do anything to diversify for a long time. And within a generation, Milwaukee went from the best place for black families to the worst place for a black family to live. In only about 50 years. And that is incredible. Let's get some more sounds of the hood. There's really nobody out. That house is going to be torn down one day. You know that. It is bright and sunny. I'm trying to show stuff against the sun, because you can't see when I'm looking towards it very well. That house looks like it burned down. The population here is 27% lower than it was at its peak in 1960. A lot of the population loss happened up here in this part of town. You can see that a lot of these hoods have all these empty lots in the middle of the blocks. Some of these blocks have hardly any homes left on them at all. There's vacant lots all over, and abandoned houses that will one day be vacant lots. It's like a giant grassy crossword puzzle. You can get a house in here for about 40 grand if you wanted to. They gotta tear a lot of this stuff down because all this mess breeds crime. People squat in the abandoned buildings. They do drugs and deal drugs and rape and just terrible things in there. Act like lunatics. There's plenty of jobs in Milwaukee. There's no excuse for any of this. And a lot of those old labor jobs, they're coming back. But the culture here's changed. A lot of these people, they don't want to do that type of work anymore. They don't want to work at all. 16% of the black population here is out of work, and only 28% of black families own their own homes. No wonder this was called the worst place for black Americans. It's not happy days here anymore. Uh-uh. They got gates. They got bars on the windows. Save a lot. It's kind of a messed up part of town. Now, a lot of people have talked about how a lot of Milwaukee's improving. Our downtown looks great now, and a bunch of our hoods are getting gentrified and fixed up. That's true, but not in here. Hardly. I saw a little bit of home construction going on, but not much. People in this part of town are struggling. Milwaukee has the third highest poverty rate in the country. A quarter of people here qualify for welfare, and most of them take it. Half the black kids here live below the poverty line. And just about everyone in the hood I'm in now sure does. One study said that Milwaukee has the second worst share of mobility of any city in the country. Second worst mobility rate. The study even said that folks here have struggled to get ahead more than entire developed countries. Well, that is a shame. Because here we are, we got all this money, and our own people are living in tragedy. But we can help the illegals get across the border, hook them up. We can send money to Ukraine and Israel and whoever the hell else wants it. And look around. All right, it's 8:45 on Sunday. And there's already something going on in the hood. It's pretty early for all that. Jeez. Just another Sunday morning in Milwaukee, I guess. Somebody is upset. Crime-wise, it's bad here in gunshot land. So supposedly this is one of the bad neighborhoods, bad streets. I've been driving around for a while, and you do have some pieces of land that are gone now, but this is nothing. I got shot right there on the corner. We got another one. They both died? They poured out, we got booze bottles for a memorial. Here's another one of these memorials. They are all over. Candles. Somebody got shot. Milwaukee's murder rate's always somewhere in the top 10, sometimes in the top 5. The violent rate is third worst. There's more crime here now than in the last 20 years, at least. Shootings, gangs, drug abuse, prostitution, armed robberies, break-ins, all of it. This side of Milwaukee is chaotic, people say. I hear there's gunshots at night on more nights than there aren't. People told me, we've just learned to tune out the sirens. We don't even notice them anymore. Haven't for years. Now you know what they say. If you're not looking for trouble, trouble won't find you. And that's probably mostly true in here. Most of the beef, most of the shootings, most of all this shit's going on between the young black kids. But it affects random people all the time too. You never know when some punk's going to shoot somebody at the gas station or at the liquor store for some street cred or some extra cash. Already at the liquor store at 9 o'clock on Sunday. But whatever. Oh, they got a little community garden over there. Good for them. Because all the grocery stores are closed down. Liquor stores are open. But somebody's taking some initiative. That's good. Something else. 11 a.m. We got more trouble. Got all kinds of police activity. See a lot of boarded up supermarkets in this hood. And then you have these Kia boys. I don't know if you've heard about them, but a bunch of Kias get stolen because there's a glitch in the ignition. 94% of car thefts in Milwaukee are never solved. Never find them. It's a good chance your car gets stolen here, you ain't getting it back. They lock people up, and it doesn't seem to matter. Milwaukee has the highest rate of black males in jail of any other large city in the country, even more than New Orleans. 16% of black males were locked up here in the last decade. 16%. So at some point in the last 10 years, 1 in 7 black males in Milwaukee was in jail. God. In the hoods I'm driving through, 1 out of 3 black males has been in jail recently. And they say the big problem is black males aren't at home to be fathers. Well, there you go. Man, if this ain't the most chill hood I've been to, if Milwaukee is that dangerous, then there must be just a very small number of people that are wrecking this place, because everybody I've seen is pretty chill, seems really laid back. I'm sure a lot of the troublemakers are not up yet, but so it's unfortunate that just a few same people, same kids shooting the same people over and over again, giving this place a really bad reputation. The roads are bad though, I'll tell you that. Terrible. What's up, man? Good. I'm doing a YouTube video.
Wow. Catch me, I guess.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
So everybody says like this part of town is bad, but I don't think it's really that bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good over here, really. Like if you think about it, everybody that was bad gone.
What do you say?
Everybody that was bad is like gone. You know what I mean?
So it's not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? It's pretty much all people that's like homeowners and stuff now. So
yeah,
all the drama and everything, you pretty much don't find nothing going on over here.
Where did they all go?
Move farther up. I guess they moved them out of town.
Like further north?
Yeah, like all the way uptown and towards the south. Yeah, and towards the southern area of the city.
Who's most of the trouble? Like the kids that are in high school, like the young kids?
High school from like 21 to 27, 28. I get you. Them the nutty ones now. You know the older guys know what's going on. It's that area mainly, and then everybody that run after them. I don't know why. It's like they wanna prove a point or something.
So all these churches, I keep seeing it's Sunday morning. Now when I'm in the deep south and I'm in the ghettos, people are at the churches all day long, especially on Sunday. There'll be cars around the block. And all the churches that I've been looking at, they're empty. They're either closed down or the ones that are open, there's nobody around. Religion's not as big a deal up here in the Midwest as it is down in the deep south. And we got more cops up here. It's the third time I've seen some action in about 3 hours. When I was in Detroit, I didn't see any action. Of course, there's a lot more to it than just the bad decisions people in this hood made. Racial profiling played a big part. There was a lot of discrimination in housing, and that made things hard for families to get ahead in the 60s and 70s. That sucked. I read a report one time that always stuck with me. It's very long, but it made a case that all of these hoods are basically Ponzi schemes. The theory is that these neighborhoods were all new, and the white families moved in, and then when they got old, they left, and the minorities came in to kind of try to pick up the pieces. They were left holding the bag. But Oprah, she found a way out of this hood. It can be done, people. I'm just going to turn the car off and get some sound. Sounds of the Milwaukee hood. Now the schools here, they're pretty bad. They rank terribly. Go online sometime and read about Milwaukee public school teachers complaining. It's a real page scroller. They say the schools are out of control. Kids don't have to go to class anymore. The kids run the school. The parents don't give a shit. The schools are loud and unruly and just filthy, they say. It's sad. And you see the results. The city's in a big deficit right now, too. So they probably can't expect things to get any better in this part of town. They're going to have to cut more cops and more teachers and whoever else to get it all figured out. And people here complain about crooked politicians, too. Well, I think there's crooked politicians everywhere. And it's not just here in Milwaukee either. The whole part of southern Wisconsin is riddled with crime and poverty. It's here, Racine, Kenosha, all the way down the coast to the Illinois border. I hear over and over, it's all these Chicago gangs and welfare seekers coming up here, and they're making it all worse. I think that's true. Chicago ruins everything around here. Like dog shit smeared from one room to another. Across the whole house. What are some problems that they need to figure out here?
They need to figure out, the violence, getting kids off the street. These teenagers, they have nothing to do. So if they have more community centers and concerned parents, every hour checking on their child and like, what are you doing? What are you know what I'm saying? Just checking on their child well-being.
So like the north end that I drove through, I talked to some people when I was down there this morning, and they said it's not as bad as it used to be up here.
Right.
Do you agree?
I think it's getting better. It's not as bad, but it's not really good neither. It's like still in between, stuck in that middle, so.
Why is it getting better?
I don't know. I guess because they don't want that stigma like Milwaukee, like Killwaukee, and we don't want that stigma, you know what I mean?
So they're enforcing the law more? Is that what they're doing?
I think they is a little bit. They doing more patrolling and, stuff like that. So, yeah, I think they doing a lot more patrolling the areas,
Mm-hmm.
I feel a little bit safe to walk at night than I used to be. So I think they doing a little bit more patrolling the area, the police is. involved, what's going on and stuff.
Why did it take them so long to start?
Because they tired of the crime rate going up. You know what I'm saying? Every time you hear in the news, oh, somebody got shot, somebody got robbed, or somebody got killed, you know, and they tired of it, you know, and they want some change. And then the elections coming up. What better year to change when elections coming up? So.
I better get that. And again, another church, Sunday morning, and nobody's around. They even have caution tape around the church. Caution tape? But again, you got these huge areas where they've just taken houses away that were just too fallen down. See a lot of that in Detroit, but it's not nearly as bad here as it is there. Looks way better. The word on the street is that black folks in this part of town feel neglected. They're putting all the city's money into making downtown all nice, but they're letting this part of town crumble, people say. Who knows? Maybe they're letting it get this way on purpose so they can just come in here and tear all this down and build new condos. Wouldn't shock me. Or China's going to buy it all up. They're going to own our whole country one day, even our ghettos. We're just sitting around letting them have it. They asked people in Milwaukee, do you like living here? Well, half the white people and Hispanics, they said, yeah. 80% of the black folks said, hell no.
They need to stop acting like lowlifes and get a job.
Well, maybe they're trying, Karen. It's tough to get out of the ghetto.
Bullshit. They have every opportunity we have. The police here can't do anything because they're outnumbered. They're tired and they want to quit.
Well, the police can't quit. Who's going to protect the people?
I will. Citizens will. Let's take America back.
Maybe that's a deer rifle, first of all. And you're talking about civil war and civil unrest. That's not going to make things safer.
It can't get any worse.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, this might be the most laid-back ghetto I've ever been to. Sunday morning, middle of February, 38 degrees. Ain't nobody around. Nobody. It doesn't even look that bad. Wisconsin might be my new favorite state. If this is your worst ghetto, nobody's even paying attention to me. It's like I'm invisible or something. That's only the third panhandler I've seen in 3 days. And one homeless person. That's it. That ain't shit. Okay, so right now I'm walking around in pretty much the worst of Milwaukee's hoods. I'm right in the middle of it right here on the northwest end. And there's really not a lot going on. I've been getting out of the car, talking to people, stopping the car, just driving around slow. It's the oddest ghetto I think I've been in. And it's warm out. It's like 55 degrees and sunny in the middle of February. It's just the most chill place I've been that is supposedly a terrible ghetto out here in the Milwaukee, middle of February on the Great Lakes road trip. So I just ran through all the statistics and told you what's going on at the street level. I've showed you what it looks like. But to be honest, it feels pretty tame here, at least compared to some of the shit I've seen in this country. Some of it's pretty bad. But I don't think I worried one time about where I was or who was peeping me out. Snow on the ground made a difference? I don't know. I just didn't get that vibe I usually get. All the hype and reputation, and I was just sort of like, eh. People around here said, well, the South Side's bad too. You should go check that out. They said, that's where the Hispanics and Asian gangs live. You should see it. These are the first two panhandlers I've seen in Milwaukee the whole time. That is it. They don't have a lot here. Good for them. A lot of this shit on the north end was all kind of wrecked. But down here, a lot of the buildings, they weren't in as bad a shape. There's taco trucks everywhere down here. They have their own corner bars down here. And look, the Hispanics need their Boost mobiles too. Everybody around here speaking Spanish. I did not think I'd see this in Milwaukee. I kind of thought that the architecture in the Hispanic ghetto part of town was pretty cool. Whoever's in charge of this side of town's doing a good job, I think. Anyways, the south side of town is way less worked over than the north side is. That's why I didn't show a lot of the south side. Because you people are sick, I tell ya. I don't know if that place is open anymore. But it should be. That's what the kids need. Something to do. They say Milwaukee's one of the most segregated cities in America. The banks and the real estate companies, they intentionally redlined and separated the population of Milwaukee into white and black. Well, today, it's self-segregation. Nobody says where you can live anymore. And to be honest, a lot of people don't want to move. Milwaukee's now generationally segregated, just like most of our other big cities. From what I hear, there's no solution except to get these young kids to change the cycle. But they're too busy to listen to you and I. Social media and music are the only thing they pay attention to anymore. Where are the black role models in all this? They're our only hope. This was the last true inner-city ghetto that I had left to see in this country. I expected it to be a lot worse, and I thought it would feel way more sketch. I was glad I made it across the finish line without getting killed, but a little bit of me wanted the last chapter to be a real nail-biter. As it stood, Milwaukee was another urban nightmare filled with crime and poverty. They all have the same story, just with a different cover.
They just want to creep the easy route. They want to impress their friends, and especially young people. It's mostly young people under 20 is doing all these crimes. Teenage, young people between 25 and 20, they're doing all these crimes. And they just want to fit in with their friends. They want to have the clique. They want somebody to love them. And they probably ain't getting the same love at home, and that's why they join the gangs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And plus they don't think it's cool because they probably live with their parents. They don't have no real bills. You know what I mean? So why get a job if you're living with your parents and they're taking care of you? Why do anything? Mm-hmm. Because you're not letting them grow up. They steal a child and they brain. I got 2 kids, I have problems with my son. He still got issues, but, I did spoil him, you know what I mean? And he's, got issues of growing up. And a lot of people they don't want to grow up. They don't want to work a real job. They want to rob. They want to steal. They want to kill. They want to do everything else. They don't want a real job, And that's sad. It's sad and sad. And it's sad that we parents are still supporting our kids and still spoiling our kids, and we're not allowing them to grow up. And they feel like, oh, I can live with mom and dad for free. Why grow up? You know what I'm saying? So they don't want a job. They just want quick money. And hopefully one day they would grow up, you know, when they get jail time or get killed out in the streets. You know what I mean? Before all that, hopefully they'll grow up. So, yeah. And the child feeling loved. And know the child, what friends they hang out with. You know, just knowing that. And that could make some changes, you know, in the violence with these youth going around stealing cars or, you know, stealing out the stores or selling drugs or something. Just make a difference in, you know, somebody concerned about them, caring about them. You know, parents concerned, you know, teachers concerned. The communities have more community center. They concerned. The schools concerned. You know, everybody being like a family organ, you know, so with these teens. I think it started with the teens, you know. Most of the crime is starting at like 18, 17, 16, 14 years old. So if we can get the community centers, the more after-school programs, more volunteers involved into these children's lives, I think it'll be better.
Yeah. So what are they trying to, I mean, every city says that, but like they don't really do it.
Right.
What's the misconnection here? Are the kids just not wanting to do the things that the adults are telling them to do?
I think it's easier to find fast money, like steal a car. It's easier to do that. It's easier to rob somebody. It's easier to steal out of the store than to find a job. You know what I'm saying? They don't want that hard way. They don't want to find a job. They don't want to look on the internet for a job. They don't want job training. We need more churches involved. We need more principals. We need more community involved in these kids. So that would help out a lot. And then knowing where your kids are, you know, even though they're in school, knowing they're okay in school, because there's bullies at school that hinder them from learning. So, oh, I'm not going to go to school because this bully is there. So, you know, I'm just going to hang out and, you know, rob somebody because I don't want to go to school, because I don't feel safe in the school. So just making the environments feel safer for them. Maybe they'll want to go to school. Maybe they want to do something. Maybe, you know, telling people about being bullied or whatever, you know, their problems are. Maybe that would help also. They just want to be accepted. And it's like, if it don't start at the home, it's going to start in the streets. So, you know, that's what I'm thinking is young kids, they just want to be liked. They want to be noticed. They want to be famous, and they usually be infamous because they're gonna kill somebody, they're gonna rob somebody, and you know they just need self-love and need love at the house. You know what I mean? And show them that they're important. And if they not feeling important, they're gonna join a gang. They're gonna rob somebody, and you know stuff like that to get the quick money. So I think it starts with the home. If you got a good home life, you know, it might help. It might help change these kids around.
How do you make a good home life?
I'm just talking to your kids, finding out what they doing, what their interests are. You know what I'm saying? I had my kid in my son in taekwondo. I had him in gymnastics. I tried to have my daughter in ballet. You know, just get them off the street. Get them involved in something not in the streets. You know what I mean?
When I was in Milwaukee, I stayed at the wonderful Kin Guest House in downtown. It was probably the most unique hotel I've ever stayed in. No joke. Even the Salt Lake City housewives stay there. If you're traveling to Milwaukee and you want an upscale experience, there's a link in the description for 15% off your stay. You got to try this place at least once when you're in town. Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. And I can also help you find your new house too. Email me and I'll work with you. I'm not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home too. That's right. I know awesome, reliable agents all over the country, and I'd love to connect you to somebody who can help you search for that perfect home. And by the way, if you want to learn about where you should live, you should go to my website, homesnacks.com/findyourplace. On my website, you get tips on where you should move and what the costs are, and a whole lot more. It's like an AI Nick Johnson consultation for free. And if you want to buy some Mappy gear, click the store link on my homepage. From there, you can check out the latest merch. There's hoodies, coffee cups, stickers, and shirts. Show off how much you love Mappy and support the channel. And I'm on Cameo too. If you want me to send you or somebody you know a personalized video message, go to Cameo and search Nick Johnson YouTube. It's fun. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more.
Hey YouTube world, I'm Sage, Nick's manager. You've enjoyed a Corner House Entertainment production, so watch another one.